I hate to be a little bit of a prophet, but I feel like I got the ball rolling on this stuff. The biggest domino this offseason will be Matthew Stafford. There's no doubt.
You've been on this for a minute.
There's no doubt in my mind about it. And yesterday, 6 days after I said it, Colin Cowherd and Albert Breer talked about it. The Rams want the number 3 pick from the Giants for Matthew Stafford, per Colin Cowherd. Cowherd says the Rams don't want to restructure Stafford's deal and are getting tired of his wife constantly talking to the public. The Rams could then look to trade down from 3 to acquire more picks next year to move up for a quarterback. So they're all about the next 2 years in acquiring picks. And Matthew Stafford, is the Giants roster good enough where he can help get them through and win games over the next couple of years?
He'll bring Kupp with him.
There is no question in my mind that Stafford is the key to the offseason. There's not going to be a lot of movement until the Rams decide what to do with Matthew Stafford. The Giants, it feels like that is the natural fit because they have the 3rd pick. Now, will the Giants give up the 3rd pick for Matthew Stafford? I'm not so sure, but it is out there, man. It is out there.
May I?
Please, this is your squad, the New York Giants.
The reason that they will, Rye, is because, and I listened to Colin, you sent that to me. It was a great take, and I'm going to go over it with you. The Giants, they've got basically Matt Patricia, and who was our GM? Quinn?
Yeah.
Who did they take with their pick?
Malik Neighbors?
No. Quinn and Patricia. When it was their last time.
Jeff Okudah.
They took Jeff Okudah from need because they felt if they didn't get this guy, they couldn't wait. If they drafted Tua, they didn't have time to wait. These 2 clowns will be out of there by Thanksgiving.
That's a great point.
By Thanksgiving, unless they win now. So to have Matthew Stafford come over, they have a pretty good defense. They got some good talent. They got Malik Neighbors. They got a great tight end that they drafted. Running back, they're a little weak. Maybe they bring Cooper Kupp in and put him on the other receiver. Matthew Stafford, they can win 9-10 games. Easily. They can. Now, here's the kicker. The Rams won't have a quarterback this year. They're not going to draft one this year. They're going to wait. You heard. They're going to move that pick to try to get other picks. He said, and he's heard this, Aaron Rodgers might land in Los Angeles and play for 1 or 2 years when they draft their quarterback and they play under him. He gives them almost, I'll say almost, the same chance that Matthew Stafford gives them in the time right now. You know he lives out in L.A. as well. He's got homes everywhere. And that's where he's from. He's from the San Francisco Bay Area. I mean, Los Angeles ain't the Bay Area, but it's close enough. I laughed. I didn't think it was any chance of it. But the more I think about it, I've almost talked myself into it.
And isn't that exactly why we love the NFL?
Yes.
Because of these possibilities. Now, years ago, before Tom Brady truly shopped himself out of New England, and you had the Peyton Manning and you had Joe Montana.
Those are force outs.
But those were force outs at the end of their career. Yeah. I mean, we've never had this type of quarterback movement as openly as we do now. Brady, Stafford, Russ. I mean, that was a big deal back when Russ went to the Broncos.
Yeah.
I love it. I hope it happens because it makes the NFL interesting.
It's like a soap opera.
Absolutely.
I think it's telenovela. And I also think that there's a tread left on that tire. You know, look, man, it's all about situations. You put an individual in a better situation. Last year, the offensive line wasn't the best for the New York Jets. They had to figure some things out, and he looked early on in that season. But by the end of the season, there was something left. And I think there's enough left there where, if placed in the right situation, keyword, right situation where the offensive line is going to give you that time to protect. The wide receivers can get open and be on to them where they can put up with what you are or what you're trying not to be. If that situation is out there, and if it's the 49ers, there could be one last hurrah, if you will. Yeah. And my fellow draft classmate, I think it's something left.
And don't you think, too, like Stafford is the kind of guy now that he's not going to go to like a Jacksonville type team. Now that you play in a big time market like L.A., you can only go to a big time market like New York.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of look at a lot of these sports. You got guys going from coast to coast, big market to big market. He's a big market guy, and I think he would love to play for the New York Giants. I think he would fit perfectly there.
Put them back on the map.
Absolutely. If you could win in L.A. and New York, isn't that something?
But Aaron Rodgers, under the tutelage of Sean
McVay,
I think that would be fun to watch. Look what he did for Baker Mayfield.
Listen to me.
In the short time he was there.
Stafford and Cup in New York. Rodgers, Adams
in
L.A.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Because Devontae Adams was one of the Rams and the Chargers are two teams. They're the two highest teams
on his list.
On his list and in Vegas to land Devontae Adams.
Can you imagine two New York teams making a trade with the Rams? It's odd.
And by the way,
the Jets would have to make that deal.
Speaking of the Jets, I forgot who the NFL person was, but they said the Aaron Rodgers stuff that is so blown out of proportion and not the case.
Really?
That the Jets told Aaron Rodgers that he couldn't do the Pat McAfee show. Said that's just not true. And
who was it? Rich Cimini?
I don't know.
That's who covers
said
it.
it's just not true, and it was totally blown out of proportion, and they didn't know how stuff like that gets out.
I don't believe him. I like believing what I said.
It wasn't him. It wasn't Rich Cimini. It was one of the ESPN NFL guys.
I know. I like believing that the Jets told him to take a walk. I like that.
Well, they did tell him to take a walk, but not because of the McAfee stuff.
We'll see. You don't know.
No, I don't know.
I think it's more fun thinking about that, though.
But I like to deal in facts.
He's been bossing them around for 2 years.
Even loose facts.
Yeah.
All right? Even loose facts. I like to deal around in that, okay? But, like, just outright lies, I can't deal with that.
All right.
I can't deal with that.
No, I definitely understand. I believe that Maz is on to something with that. Like, I think that they didn't like the podcast. I think that was a huge part. Whether they said that or not, it was a part of it, I believe.
I'm not ready to be done with Aaron Rodgers in the NFL.
No, we need him.
I'm not ready to be
He
done.
provides
with
to
We
me
need
a
him.
subject.
I still say, if it all fails here, I still say the 49ers are his place.
I think you're right.
With Brock Purdy with a bad elbow.
I think you're right.
Is there another average squad that may make the playoffs, may not make the playoffs that he would go to?
I think it's got to be an NFC team. I
Saints,
really do.
maybe?
I mean, if you look at why would anybody want to go to the AFC right now?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Why, you think the AFC is more superior?
I think the AFC
They got
is
more
more
superior
superior because they have
quarterbacks.
more superior quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick, those are problems. Joe Burrow.
I don't know. I kind of like my NFC quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're fine.
They're fine. But which NFC quarterback would you take
Over
Mahomes,
All right.
Burrow, Allen,
All
or
right.
Lamar?
All right.
I just gave you 4 guys there.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, the best quarterback in the NFC
You
is
take Jaden Daniels over who? Of the 4 I gave you.
I'm not. I'm not.
I wouldn't either.
I'm not.
I would not take Jaden Daniels over one of those 4 quarterbacks that I just
No.
listed.
I can't.
the best quarterback in the NFC is at best 5th in the AFC.
Yeah,
Yes.
You're right.
That.
Yeah, 100%.
1,000% accurate
Yeah.
comment. At best.
100%.
Um,
Don't let him mess around and get Herbert back together. It's another one.
And I think Justin Herbert,
I'm just
and it
messing with
pains me
you.
to say this. It pains me to say this. I've never really been a Herbert guy.
Same.
I think Justin Herbert is now going down the same road
Jared.
as Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Did you hear that other false rumor that was out there?
What was
that?
that?
The Steelers reached out to the Jags for Trevor Lawrence?
I know who put that out.
You do?
Ryan Burr. We used to work with him in Toledo. Well, I worked at one station in Toledo.
Yeah.
He worked at the other.
What was he telling the truth?
I mean, he probably heard it from somebody.
Like a drunk guy at a party?
No, I mean, he's
Because you heard stuff from drunk guys at parties.
Yeah,
before
yes, I did.
that we haven't put on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. I
But
have.
they sounded like great stuff.
Yeah.
Can't wait to say this.
Right. I have. There's no doubt about it. But you pick it again. I will deal in loose facts even sometimes, but you cannot deal in lies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You cannot deal in something that you know is a lie.
But don't you like the guy that has had a few drinks and he's talking to a bunch of guys at a party, and he's like, "Hey man, I told you, I heard this. This is what happened. Jared Goff, blah blah blah.
Right.
Before the game, blah blah blah.
Right.
This, blah blah blah.
Food poisoning, blah blah
exactly, yeah. Food poisoning, yeah. That's,
you know.
Really? Yeah. I'm telling you, man, that's what happened. I know the doctor.
Right.
That's all.
The what were we talking about?
We're talking about loose facts.
Loose facts.
The Ryan Burr put that.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan Burr's a golf guy though, and he's from Pittsburgh, so he probably heard through somebody
at the golf course.
You know what I mean? Heard through somebody. So it's not like he's even reporting it. Probably just heard from a friend of a friend who's dialed in.
Like
probably
in
Pittsburgh. It's not even. Yeah, he covers golf for NBC now. You know, what I mean, it's not like he's covering the team. Hey Ryan, you met my friend Ken this morning. How was the food? Oh yeah. Hey Chris, how are you, my Chris? $5 in the super
Chris
chat.
Blackburn.
Where'd you have some food
Absolutely.
at? Who'd they bring in?
Good food.
Good food.
Okay.
Good food.
Good answer. Good answer. Good
Myles with
answer.
the assist.
Yes. Hey, I wanted to get to this. Just talking about next season, okay? And we talk about Myles Garrett. I'm almost tired of talking about Myles Garrett, but I did think this was interesting.
Yes, read that paper from ESPN.
This is one of the things ESPN's been doing over the last couple of days, and we're going to talk about some more predictions that they have for next season coming up top of hour number 2. We'll go down that road. But yesterday they put out this one move that you believe that X team should make.
Yes.
And I believe this is Mike Tannenbaum. The name got cut off, but I think this is from Tannenbaum, who says, if the Lions are one player away, they have enough cap space to go out and get Myles Garrett. The Lions fell apart in the postseason when most of their defense went down injured, but they were looking for a second pass rusher to play alongside Aiden Hutchinson even before the injuries. They signed Marcus Davenport to a one-year deal from the Saints. He played 2 games before suffering a torn triceps. A few weeks later, Hutchinson went down. Davenport is a free agent, while Hutchinson still has 1 year left in his rookie deal. The Lions might be worried about he won't immediately return to his prior level of play, which had him as a strong candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. They don't have a quarterback on a rookie deal, but as one of the league's youngest teams, they have key contributors on both sides of the ball that are on team-friendly contracts. $56.7 million in projected cap space. That is enough space over the next couple of years to trade for Garrett and sign him to a new deal. It would be a huge bet, but if Detroit thinks they're one player away, is there a better alternative than Myles Garrett? He believes that the Detroit Lions should mortgage the farm and go get Myles Garrett. That's a former general manager in this league who led teams to back-to-back